Hello, and today we're going to be talking about Serpent's Tongue, a new and exciting card game from Unbound Games. So let me get the box open and show you what's inside. Okay, well first of all, this box over here is an extra box that comes with these kind of booster packs, and the packaging on this is really nice. Got a nice little sealed bit with the magical Magi language, a little seal here, and it'd be really cool if maybe as a world tournament extra that this actually came in a properly sealed pack. That'd be quite nice. And inside here you should have randomised 12 cards, basically 2 rares, and then I think it's 4 uncommons, and then about 6 commons plus a code for registering online. What most people will be buying is actually this base set, which is what you actually need to play. It comes with a little sand timer, which is a little optional extra, a D10 of, it's okay quality, I've had better, a little card holder, which I do not see me ever using, damaging my cards, no thank you, 1 focus crystal. Now there was meant to be 2, but we'll come back to that. You only actually get 1 in the game. A load of little grommets, which you're going to be using for your dial, which is one of these. Haven't punched it out yet. A whole load of counters, and these rather sexy binders. At the moment I haven't actually got anything in mine. You've got the little wheel there, a load of secret text which you can translate. Rather lovely embossed binder, and you get 2 of those, a brown and a black one. You get these little packs here which come with the pockets for your cards, because what actually happens is you put these pages in these binders and then these rather large cards. Now these are kind of 6 by 4 inches, they are enormous. If I can get a magic card out I could probably show you how big they are, but they're like 2 magic cards next to each other, but they're really big, and rather lovely artwork on them as well. And of course the final thing you get in the rule is the rule book. Now there's also meant to be a walkthrough booklet, but sadly that's only an online PDF at the moment. But there you go, can't be helped. It was deemed better to get the game out rather than to keep it in development hell, because this game was on Kickstarter, which was finally all done and dusted in May 2012. We're now February 2014 and I've only just got my copy, literally about 2 days ago. So it's been a long and painful process, but it's quite an exciting little game. First of all, each person when they get to the more advanced rules will have one of these kind of IDs. This is sort of like your specialisation. In addition, you can have 1 artifact, and then you can have, I think it's 27 spells, and there's certain rules as to how you build your deck. Now unlike Magic or at Netrunner Android and all that stuff, you can access any of your spells at any time as long as you can pay for them, so it's not like a random deck, so you have to customise your deck. Now what a lot of people have said is you're going to pick your high level spells and your ID and your artifacts and then build your deck around that, and that makes a good point. And this is all the cards that you get in the base set, so as you can see you get quite a few. There have been some criticisms over some of the recommended cards you can build. You don't actually necessarily get enough in 1 starter set to build all of the deck options. Obviously if you buy a couple of boxes then you'll be fine, or if you buy this optional little extra booster box, which I bought, you should be pretty well covered. Some of the cards in this booster box here are kind of repeats of the cards in your starter set. The starter set has level 1 and level 2 spells mostly. I think there are a couple of higher level ones in there as well. Whereas the booster box here, they're level 2, level 3 and level 4 spells. And there is rumours gathering that maybe there might be some level 5, but I haven't seen any official confirmation of that. So I've taken some stills, so I'm going to put them in here so you get a better picture than me wobbling around with my camcorder here. Anyway, let's talk a bit about how the game actually works. Okay, so let's say you've picked your specialisation, you've built your codex. What you're going to do is you're going to have a page like this inside your codex, the little binder. You're going to have this little plastic pocket which goes over the page quite nattily, and then your card just slips in. So let's say you want to cast this spell, well you simply whip it out of its relevant page, put it in front of your codex, then you actually go to prepare your spell, and I believe it's 3 spells you can have. And when you look, you've got this little code here, and that tells you how to cast the spell. So you start off in the circle, you go to the dot, you go to the dot, and then you end up at this end line. Now, when you look in your codex, there's actually a key which will tell you that this is the word you're trying to say, amu. And if you want to be really fancy, you can also do this symbol and this motion, which is an attack motion. So how do you work out that that's amu? Well, down here is both the text, which if you're really fancy you can read, and then there's this little diagram. And that diagram relates to this little thing just inside your codex here. So if you actually look, it's A is the first option, which is up there, A. Then you go down to H, then up to M, and then down to U. And you know how to do this kind of motion on that codex via this bit here. So as you can see, A, M, H, U, amu, which if you've got it right, you get congratulated by your opponent and they say bad words, and you get to trigger off the spell. And you pay various costs, and then various effects come into play. Now what makes the game a little bit more complex is you've got these different spheres that have different spell effects, which then cost you and last various amounts, all done by this symbology here. Then you've got this little game text here, and you've also got the actual ability to cast it. Now depending on how you want to play the game, I guess you could just say, I play Absorb, Weave, pay the cost, trigger the effect, done. If you want to be a little bit fancier, you obviously do, the words, and to be really fancy you do the symbols and the motion as well. And a really good example of how this all works is obviously the official videos from Unbound Games and the rather excellent video of this game on the Dice Tower network done by Ryan. Why did I buy this game? Well, I didn't buy it due to the Kickstarter. I didn't even know this game existed. Board Game Geek produced a really good video feed for Gen Con, and as a bit of a time filler they got some guy to sit down and he had this weird card game which happened to be Serpents Tongue, and it really appealed to me. I can see it being a good card game, a good resource for role players, an excellent resource for LARPers, and you could see the passion behind the game, and I think it was a great idea. So I placed my order, and I think I had to wait about 12 months, 6 months, I can't remember now. I had to wait a little while, and that was quite tense for me. So for the poor guys who did the Kickstarter and had to wait 2 years for this product to come out, there must have been unbearable. And it's not been perfect. The rule book, I find personally the rule book to not be particularly great at teaching you to play the game. It's not bad, but it's not great. The walkthrough and the videos and stuff are much better than just the rule book. The rule book's probably quite good if you know how to play as a reference book, but as taking you as a complete novice from not knowing how to play to being able to play, I've seen worse, but I have seen better. The cards, they are beautiful. Now there has been a little bit of a problem with some of them not being printed quite right. They have this weird texture, and some of them are quite pixelated, but when they're done properly they're just beautiful. I know Unbound Games are really trying to beat up the suppliers on that. The other problem you can have is some of the randomization in this box can be a bit wonky. Some people haven't received any artifacts, other people have received loads of artifacts but no level 4 spells. The packing's been all back to front and multiple copies of spells rather than totally randomized. So there are a few little niggles that may put you off, but the key thing is these guys are really working on it, and they've got a great advantage of having this special code system, so they can actually help fix people who've been rather stuffed by the bad packing at the factory, which, as I say, they are working to resolve. My copy seems fairly okay. I have got one of these pages slightly miscut, so I'm going to put a ticket in for that. I'm pretty sure they get that fixed ASAP. I've also so far opened a few boosters and discovered one that was badly done. I've still got some of these left to open, and I'm hoping that I don't have too many problems going forward with these guys being badly packed. As I say, one pack being not quite properly done is annoying, but okay. But we'll have to see. I'm going to collate all the cards and put a support ticket in if necessary. And as I say, what's been really pleasing is the guys must be very stressed. They've waited 2 years to get their creation into production. A lot of people have been frustrated with them. There's been the few little technical glitches, and they're working really hard to fix them. And you know, you've got to give these guys great props. They've come out with this brand new product, kickstarted it, got it to market. There's been some teething problems, but they're working really well and seem to be a really nice bunch of guys, and they've got a huge amount of passion for this game. So I'm hoping that this will be popular with some of my local gaming buddies. I can see it being a bit of a hard sell for some people because, you know, I mean, you've got these ridiculously big cards which are absolutely beautiful. It's got this really cool theme embedded, like, you know, on the back of the cards. There's a lot of nice text in your codex pages. You've got page after page of nice text and funky diagrams, and it's a really intriguing concept that for years and years and years, millennia even, we have been speaking a special Serpent's Tongue, which is magic. And I in particular, I am a Magi, and a Magi is both singular and plural in Serpent's Tongue, and it's basically I'm a special soul who knows the secrets of magic. And over the centuries I've been reincarnated into new forms, and for about the last 200 years I've basically forgotten myself. And then suddenly recently these packages arrive, because these are actually designed to look a bit like chess. They got a magical seal, they got the name of the game, they got some secret text to decipher here. Beautiful boxes designed to look like a chest. That's arrived from a secret order who's informed me that, you know, magic is reawakening. I am one of these secret people who is a reincarnation, and I'm awakening from my lack of knowledge to remember my power. And of course, as I get better with the game, I'm going to go from level 1, this is actually a level 2 spell, to level 2 spells, then progress to level 4 or even level 5. So it's a very exciting concept. And what really attracted me to this game, it was 1-on-1 player versus player, 2-on-2 player versus player team, solo. That there's actually some rules for solo where you can play against. Actually, these pages have some special kind of robots that you can play against, robot AI, and then really intriguing is multiplayer versus the game as well. So you can have 1-on-1 or team on team or team on game or solo. I mean, what a great way of doing it. Plus, as I say, for people who are into LARPing, you've got a really nice little spell book with a funky secret language. And, you know, as I say, if you want to, you can really throw yourself into the game, get really excited by the language and the kind of the role-playing side, or you can just treat it as another card game. Now, one of the criticisms I do have, it does sort of follow that CCG kind of rarity booster pack thing, which makes it very exciting to open one of these. Oh, what have I got? Have I got that card I don't have, which is great. But it's a bit of a pain when you open it up and you've got yet another Ring of Illusion, which I seem to have a lot of. I think it's Ring of Illusion anyway. So that's a bit of a downside. However, this Avakshar, I think it's called, the codes you can redeem means that if you don't have the card you really want, you can register this code on a website, and once you've got enough points you can redeem those points against an actual card, and they will post you out a card. That system's not quite live yet. As I say, some of the components that should be in the game need to be shipped out. I do quite like this crystal. I had to actually cut a little nub off and sand this down a bit, so it's not brilliant, but it's better than it was. A big lump sticking out into my cards would not have been good. However, I'm tempted to replace this by a little £3 crystal or some marbles, which would, you know, make the game much better. So anyway, that's a little kind of overall view of the game and the components. I'm probably going to try and do a follow-on video which actually will expand on this to actually like talk more about the game itself.